Hey guys, and welcome back to Cultured Boys, a show where two guys just want to have a chat. I'm Nathan, and as always, I'm joined by Pepe, and we are back with some more pitches.
Hello.
I genuinely left that pause because I thought you'd have more to contribute.
No.
Well, it's cool. It's cool. We'll get into it.
I mean, we've done like 2 of these before. This is our 3rd one we've done.
Yes.
If you don't know the drill already, basically we've chosen a bunch of different subjects, bunch of different genres, mixed them up, and we're gonna pitch them to you because we've just chosen some at random,
Yes.
and we're gonna go through it. We got I've created a pitch. Nathan's created a pitch of what we're gonna create. Well, what we would hypothetically create. I ain't creating this stuff for real. I don't know about you.
Well, it's sort of half create, I guess,
yeah.
because there is also the rule. Again, you are allowed to create whatever supplementary content you want.
Exactly.
Posters, covers, whatever else along with it. So it helps the pitch, so it gives us a visual of sorts. Doesn't always happen, sometimes it does. Anyway, so this time round was a kind of interesting one. I don't know how you felt about it.
I'll tell you what, I struggled at first, but once I got into the swing of it, I actually think this is actually a freaking good manga. Oh, spoiler alert, what the fuck it is. Go on, Nathan.
So this week, or this pitch, is for a multiverse romantic comedy manga.
When that came through, I was like, for God's sake, what the hell am I going to come up with here? But I went from one idea to something like a little bit different, like it kind of evolved a little bit. I think it's actually quite, I don't know, I've come up with something I think I'd actually read. So this is something I'm quite, low key kind of proud of it, but I'll hold it back until you hear the idea of it.
I'm proud of the fact that I came up with an idea, but unlike you, I wouldn't necessarily read this because it's not quite my style of manga.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like every time we do a pitches, I always start with I go for low hanging fruit because it's just like the first thing that comes to my mind.
Yeah. I get that. No, I get that. Especially, it's hard to imagine. I imagine if you don't know like the genre as well as like something. If it was like a battle multiverse thing, I'm pretty sure you'd be a bit like, oh yeah, this would be this.
Yeah.
Like whereas like I've kind of come up with something which I kind of not like. I've kind of like taken things from other manga, but not like completely stolen them. They've like kind of inspired me because it's the rom-com. I read rom-coms in manga, and I kind of know where I can go with this. So yeah,
That's why I think I'm going to go first.
yeah, that's fine. Yeah,
And then we'll save you for last because you're the expert here,
yeah.
quote unquote. So, without further ado, I shall present to you what I have as a working title:
Mm-hmm.
A Love That Defies Physics.
Oh yeah.
It is an anthology style story, so there's not like an overarching thing, kind of like a week to week kind of thing.
Okay. Yeah.
And it follows a couple
Mm-hmm.
and their infinite possibilities across the multiverse.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not always like following the one version of this couple.
Yeah.
It might be like, oh, one day we're in universe 1 and then we're following a story from universe 35 or something.
Mm-hmm.
But all the universes are connected through bodies of water.
Okay.
So anytime they cross any water or liquid, they can hear parts of multiverses.
Bloody hell. Okay.
I haven't decided if it's like a massive just jumbled noise of every multiverse or if it's just one specific thing. I think it'd be funnier if it was like one specific thing because then you can create the comedy factor in that.
Mm-hmm.
Like the couple you're following, the version you're following might be talking about something good. They're having a great time, and then through the rain, all you can hear is an argument. But because it's still them, it's just like twisted.
Okay, yeah. So you can just imagine like one person out of that couple just hearing overhearing something.
Yeah, exactly. Like you could be sat there talking, and it's like a great time, and then all of a sudden it's just like bitch, and you're like, whoa, what?
Wow, jeez. Okay.
Obviously, that's the most extreme, quote unquote. But you know what I mean, like stuff like that, or out of context things that just sort of create these situations.
Mm-hmm.
I have named the characters.
Oh yeah.
So the male main character is Soma Uchigaki, often called Gaki,
Mm-hmm.
but that's because I went into a name generator
Yeah.
and I picked this one because I know Gaki it tends to be translated in context to brat, so I just thought that'd be funny.
Okay. Yeah.
So Soma Uchigaki and then just most people just call him Gaki, so brat.
Yeah. Okay.
So that kind of like plays into his personality, I guess. I didn't get that far in the idea, but I just thought that would be another funny little thing just for me.
Okay. So you got that for the guy. What's the?
Yes, and the female lead is Sasami no Haruchi.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing special there. Just literally out of
Yeah.
all the names, I saw this one and I thought it was funny because it looks and sounds like Sesame. So I was like, okay,
Yeah,
literally
that
just
sounds
like
good,
cool.
yeah.
Also, I'm not gonna lie. Out of all of the generated names, that was the easiest one for me to pronounce.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So,
Yeah. So you just went really out of all of them? Hold on a second,
bro, the generator I found was like they were throwing out some difficult ones. I'm like, I might have studied a bit of Japanese, but these are beyond my comprehension. Like, I'm gonna
Okay.
fuck this up when it comes to record. I can tell you that.
Fair, no, okay, fair, interesting. That's like it threw you out that one of all things. Okay.
So I did actually create a cover for it.
Oh yeah.
I didn't send it to Pepe beforehand, like I
Okay, yeah.
normally would have. So I guess I'll do that now so he can see.
Sweet. Okay, I'll go literally see it come through live. Okay, this is gonna be interesting. I'm interested to see how this goes.
Let me. Hopefully, I picked the right one because I made two versions of this.
Oh yeah.
One where I use like found imagery, and one that I have hand drawn it because I couldn't find what I liked.
Uh-huh.
So I had to just sort of find reference images and then try and draw it myself.
Okay, yeah. So this is the first one that's come through, which is like the.
Well, that's the main one. That's the actual one.
Okay, yeah. Oh, I just yeah. Okay, cool.
I'm not gonna bother sending you the other one because I'm not gonna. It's not important.
Okay, hold on. Let me actually get a closer look at this bad boy. Okay, yeah. You got the like whole pink hair thing going on. You got got the pink hair. You got the dude.
I tried to go for like color contrasts and sort of like typical looking. I wanted the characters to sort of be generic looking.
Yeah, I could kind of go with. I can understand that because I guess like with the generic looking characters as well, you can kind of like change them a little bit between universes if you wanted to. Like if you go.
Yeah, there's that, and it's also just sort of like I feel like it might just be easier to insert yourself into the story.
Yeah. Okay.
If that's how you want to do it as well, like some people can identify better.
Okay. Yeah. Sound. Yeah.
But yeah, it's a very simple cover.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, you got the space there. Like that. That's a.
Yeah. Because I was like, I needed something to be like multiverse, so
Yeah.
space.
Yeah.
Because everything else was like, I typed in like generic multiverse on Google Images, and it just came up with like, the typical like circle universe, like in a big sphere, but they're all lined up, and I was like, that looks terrible. Like that would look crap. So then I just sort of went for generic like starry background universe kind of thing.
Okay, props to you for creating something that's more than I've done.
Oh, mate, trust me. This is the most I've ever spent creating something. Like I said, I hand drew the characters.
Yeah.
So I'm not much of an artist. I can sort of draw, but it takes a while and I'm very out of practice.
I can see where you're going with it. I see where you're going with it, though.
I mean, like, when I learned to draw, I was learning to draw, like, anime stuff anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got a partial cartoon anime style anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, this took me like 3 hours.
Yeah. Okay.
It took so long.
It's better. It's better than anything I could draw. I tell you that. I mean, mine would just be stick figures if I submitted art into this fucking thing. It would be awful.
I feel like this is a better representation of what I wanted anyway.
Yeah.
The other one I made is just not as good because I just tried to lazy ass it, half ass and just be like, this is sort of close and that's sort of close. And then I just like Photoshop some stuff together. It's still the same background. It's the same font, but it just says working title because I hadn't picked a title yet.
I see.
Because I've got like 3 other titles for this.
out of curiosity, what were your other titles you were gonna go for?
So the first one I came up with was Infinite Possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
That's low hanging fruit.
Yeah.
Super generic. And then I started going for sort of like, I thought it'd be funny to do like the light novel isekai kind of names.
Oh yeah.
So the next one I came up with is My Relationship Crosses the Boundaries of the Multiverse.
I mean, it does sound very isekai. If
That's what
what
I
you-
was really trying to go
Yeah,
for.
yeah.
And then I went sort of halfway in between. And the last one I came up with is my multiversal girlfriend slash boyfriend.
That my multiversal girlfriend does sound like a very light novel thing. I can already imagine it kind of like what it looks
See, like, and that's where it's sort of like, that's why I needed like the reference images for the poses and stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
Because I was like, these are very generic poses.
yeah,
And for those kind of titles, that's what I really, really wanted.
yeah.
I just wanted something that's like you would see almost anywhere and not even bat an eye at.
I can see the inspiration in like what you've got here as well, to be fair, like in terms of drawing and stuff. I can see a lot of that. Yeah.
A laid back kind of guy,
Yeah.
a slightly more outgoing, cute kind of girl.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's sort of represented well enough with my lackluster skills, let's say.
No, it's good. It represents it. Like I get a good idea of like what it looked like. So if you were to have this as a manga, would it be weekly, monthly, yearly?
If I had to draw it, yearly. Because if the cover took me 3 hours to hand draw, God knows how long an actual like 20-page chapter would take me.
Yeah.
So yearly, if I had to draw it, if I had someone else to draw it that was more capable than me, then probably monthly.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Gives me time to come up with ideas because again, this isn't really my comfort zone. This
Yeah.
isn't really my area of expertise, so I'd have to really think about the writing.
Yeah, I get you. Okay.
But yeah, that's me.
No, it's good, man. Okay, I get a good general idea of what it looked like, what the story would be like, what the whole concept of it. I get that, man. Okay, I like it. I like it, bro.
I appreciate it. But now
Okay.
I'm so curious of what you come up with.
Okay. So, I go like start off like what like the whole multiverse thing is the thing that really tripped me up here because I can easily write a rom-com stuff.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what? But what do I do with it? Like, what do I do with the multiverse thing? Like, that's so fucking. That threw me off so badly. So, like, my original for manga is Jump. So Weekly Jump is
Yep.
the main thing I'd go for. So that like this whole idea that I've got is based around Weekly Jump.
Yeah.
And my initial idea was actually like a weird crossover in where like a lot of the like typical rom-com mangas, some of the big ones, were like collaborating in a way.
Okay, yeah.
That was my initial idea. However, it changed from there. Then I actually came up with a proper idea for a series, which ideally is kind of what we're going to look for here. So, after deliberating and thinking of a whole bunch of things, the title of my series is called My Love in Another Universe.
Okay, light novel vibes again.
Yeah, exactly. I tell you what you said earlier, there was a title you came up with, like My Love Defies Universe or something like that, right?
Oh, my relationship crosses the boundaries of the multiverse.
I was so close to writing something very similar because when you said about the long title thing, I was so close to like doing like My Love Defies like the boundaries of the universe and stuff like that, or dimensions, like My Love Across Dimensions. So, but I shortened it down. I wanted to go for something a bit shorter, so I also translated it into Japanese as well.
Oh, okay. I didn't do that.
So I thought I'd go for the full thing. Like ideally, I feel this is something that would be shortened down, like like Assassin Anime and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But so My Love in Another Universe translates into, apologize if I butcher this, Betsu no uchu kara no watashi no ai.
Okay.
So that's what it translates into. I don't know, a little bit of like extra, a little bit of extra thing there. But basically, I go for very typical rom-com style kind of stuff. So it's all present day. It's like kind of teenage era, like that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Main character is called Ozaki Masayuki.
Okay.
I came up with that name in the exact same way that you did by going into a Japanese generator and choosing that. And the girl in this is called Nakashima Maki.
Okay.
The reason why I've chosen these two names is because I kept on pressing generate until something came along which sounded slightly like it could do with the multiverse in terms of translation.
Interesting.
I don't know what the fuck these mean now because I didn't write them down. But yeah, so main character Ozaki Masayuki, so he's Masayuki, and Nakashima Maki, so Masayuki and Maki. So starts off with Masayuki falling in love with this girl at school, aka Maki, and she actually likes him back, contrary to a lot of how rom-coms start. It's always a bit like, oh, will they, won't they? But they actually like each other from the start.
Okay.
It's the best he's ever felt, and over the coming weeks, they actually get closer.
Okay.
Like, so they they're really good friends, but obviously both of them actually like each other. Eventually, Masayuki finds the courage to confess to Maki, and it's all the typical sort of stuff where he has a letter to give her. He's like, "Oh, I'll come behind the school by the sakura blossom tree. I'll confess."
I think that's what was the word for that? I used to actually know that. There's a word for that. The confession.
Oh yeah,
I think it's like kokuhaku or something like that.
it sounds about right. Like,
Whichever one of us is editing will put that somewhere.
yeah. Yes, absolutely. But yeah, that's like, it's a typical stuff where it's, oh yeah.
Yeah, the confession, the letter, the
Yeah, like all typical stuff. Like, so this is like in a typical 52-page thing. This is like within the first, like, I don't know, like 5 pages or whatever. And she says, yeah, he confesses love. She's, yeah, I like you too. So obviously, win-win, all sort of stuff. However, a sad twist of fate happens. A meteorite falls from the sky, and the whole lovely moment of them like falling in love and like all that is ruined.
okay.
And just about as he's about to reach out to her, like, oh, it's like Maki, Maki, it cuts to black. You don't see what happens afterward. Next thing you know, Masayuki suddenly wakes up in his bed. Everything's normal. He's like, what the fuck? What's happened there?
Oh, isekai.
Well, no, he's in the exact same room. Like, he's in his room. It's like,
Okay.
he wakes up and it's like, everything's normal. Was it a nightmare? Was it a dream? What the hell? Did I confess to Maki? What happened? Everything seems the same. So since everything seems the same, he's contemplating, it kind of sucks a little bit that it went down like that, but it's fine. It's a dream, he'll carry on. But on his way to school, he notices slight differences. Like, the uniforms are slightly different. People's fashion seems to be a little bit more out there than usual. Like, something's slightly off about his travel to school.
Okay.
When he gets to school, he notices the building is completely different to what he's doing. Like, then he knows something's up. He's like, what the hell? Something's complete. Like, everyone seems the same. Like, all the personalities are the same, but something's different here. The school's different. Everyone's dressing differently. He tries to talk to his mates about it, and they're like, what are you on about? Like, stop acting weird. Like, class is about to start. Like, are you so fucking, like, you know what the typical side characters are like, oh, come on, Masayuki, come on, get a grip. You're not getting enough sleep like that. Stop playing video games.
Oh yeah, I was just about to say, oh, you didn't sleep enough?
Yeah. Playing too many video games, man, stuff like that. And he's like, okay, cool. He notices that Maki hasn't turned up to school yet. The desk next to him's empty. He's like, where is she? Is she gone as well? She turns up late, and he's like, okay, cool. So Maki's the same. However, no, she is completely different. Like, out of all the people that are slightly the same, Maki is completely changed.
Okay.
She looks different. She's got a different personality, but she knows Masayuki, and she still likes him. So it's clearly the confession happened, but she's a completely different girl to what he knows.
Okay, interesting.
So like compared to like how they were getting along really well. Like, Masayuki spends the day with Maki, but he just can't get on with her. He tries to do everything. They try to bond. They can't. He literally just can't make the connection he had before. And when she tries to make a move on him, he can't do it. He backs away. Is like, he starts contemplating stuff. He runs. He can't he just basically can't get to grips with the fact that Maki's changed so much. As he runs away, here's another manga trope. He gets hit by a car.
I was gonna say something like that as a joke, but I was like, no, I'm not gonna interrupt his pitch. I don't want to be that guy, but okay.
It happens again. He hits, he runs away. Maki's like, no, what's happened? So he gets hit by a car. Same thing again.
Okay.
Back again. He's in his room. Everything's the same. He's like, what the fuck just happened? It's like, it's kind of like, it's playing into those isekai tropes where it's like, what the hell is happening? Like,
yeah, so it's like multiverse, but also kind of
isekai multi.
Other tropes, isekai. Yeah, okay. So basically, every time he dies, his consciousness transfers to a different universe.
And he wakes up in the same way. He wakes up in the same bed. His room is the same. But he has recollection of
So it's also kind of like a Groundhog Day kind of thing.
Yes, very much so. In the fact that he kind of it's the same, but he retains those memories of what happens each time.
Interesting.
So the next time he wakes up, he's like, okay, everything's the same. My room's the same. He opens the window, in comes a fucking bike, like literally, and he looks out, it's the apocalypse. Everything's destroyed. There's, like, his room is the same, but everything outside is like destroyed. Think like Fisted North Star.
Okay.
Like literally, like
Jeez.
I want those like really over the top characters where it's like you know, the bikers, and there's like sort of like the side characters. Someone just bursts into his,
Yeah, the roving gangs and stuff. Yeah.
yeah, the roaming gang. One, the roaming gang just bursts through his window on a motorcycle. He's like, "What the fuck is this? What the fuck is going on?" This is more of the comedy aspect of it. Like, this is just like, what the, like, you can imagine that, like, what the fuck? There's a guy here, and then like he's like, you're you're Masayuki. I've come to kill you. And he's like, "What the fuck? Why do you want to kill me?" So he legs it. He runs away from this biker dude, and just as the biker guy is about to kill him, like absolutely destroy him, he gets saved by another person. Someone like, you know, the Kenshiro.
Yep.
The person who saved him is Maki.
Of course. Yep.
But this time she's absolutely ripped. She's got the same personality. She looks the same as when she first did. But now she's absolutely ripped and fucking doing the Fist of the North Star shit. And he is like, what the fuck is going on? And that is the end of chapter 1 of My Love in Another Universe.
Okay.
From there on, like, it's kind of like bit by bit, like he tries to just get to grips with what the fuck is happening, and the main aim is to get back to the world he was in, like, and try and find the Maki that is actually his, because obviously it's going to be a different form of Maki every time and a different universe every time, but obviously it's still the same girl that he likes, just in a different form each time. And then so in, like, the whole story revolves around those two, so every time he comes in,
I'm not gonna lie. I'd actually probably give that a couple of chapters.
yeah.
I probably would actually read that for just a little bit
Yeah.
before I feel like I'd be like, okay, I get it. And then I'd be like, I'm done.
I think, like, I want to try, like, the thing is, it starts off that rom-com thing, and it is like that kind of, but I really wanted to focus in on more of the comedy of it and Masayuki's adventures into, like, going around and just going into other universes and see what the hell's going on. Like, you know, like I said, that there was, like, in my original idea, I wanted to have a collaboration of different things.
Yeah, the jump. So it would just be lots of parody universes.
My idea, well, that was the idea. Like, the original idea of it was that he was going to go into every different rom-com universe. So you'd go into something like To Love Ru, like Nisekoi, Ichigo 100.
No, he's in Fist of the North Star.
But that's what I wanted to go for. Like, the fact that he's in Fist of the North Star is the first one is like, that's
I can't wait for when he's in One Piece.
literally, there's so many different ways. Like, I was thinking, like, but Fist of the North Star is such a stark contrast to this lovey-dovey thing that I came up with at the start. So
Plus, I can imagine it'd be just a stark contrast in like art style.
yeah, that's it. I feel
Because like Fist of the North Star's got that like really distinctive art style.
yeah, I kind of just wanted to just go like just completely different with like how this, like how it ended. And I think it's good like if the manga like this, it would focus more in the like comedy, like Gintama kind of like Gintama kind of comedy. So like
Yeah.
he's kind of like the straight man in all this. He's like, what the hell's going on? Like, and it just like everything wacky goes on around him. But yeah, that's basically my idea for it.
Okay, well then I'll pose the same question to you.
Yeah.
If you were to create this, what would it be? Weekly, monthly?
I wrote this in the like the idea that it would be weekly.
Okay.
Obviously I don't have any drawing talent, but I'd like potentially come up with ideas week to week. Yeah, and that that'd be it. I think it's like the only struggle I think would be if it is kind of like how long would it go on for? I feel like there's only so much leeway you can take with two characters and a different universe each time. And how many universes would you have to go through to get to the end point in it? And it's fine that like if you don't want it to become repetitive.
Yeah.
So I think I can't see it going for a long-term thing unless I added like unless I added in like another like a few more characters and like a few more different settings in some ways. But that's like, again, this is just a pitch that I came up with, like just like I'll go for chapter 1 and then see where it goes. But yeah.
Hey, at least you came up with a whole chapter. I have the premise
Yeah.
and the cover, but not much more.
Yeah, I think it's weird. Like as I said before, I struggled so much. I was thinking, what the hell am I gonna do with it? Like, funny enough, like you sent this thing to me about a week ago, like what we're gonna be doing.
Yeah.
And like literally, it's only been until today where I properly started thinking about it.
Oh, okay.
I kind of just had it in the back of my mind, like, where would I go with this? Like, so it was always the jump aspect of it. Like, obviously, Nisekoi, like one of my favorite mangas, like that was kind of factoring a little bit. Like, could I go something like that, but a twist on it? And then it's only today where like my cogs just started working. It was just like, I'll add this, and then I add this, and add this, and I think I sat down for literally about 30 minutes, like just like coming up with the character names, like the title, like all sorts. Like, it all just like fell into place from that.
Okay.
So, like, in contrast to our previous pitches, where I've like, yeah, this will go here, like, oh, this is a funny pun, i.e., the K of Cyberpunk. This is something that like I thought of like just today. Like, I was literally thinking like, oh my god, I'm gonna come up to this and have nothing. Like that was genuinely like the fear. I was like, oh my god, what do I just tell Nathan that I can't come up with anything because like we have to delay this record because I don't have any ideas. But
Oh, dude, we wouldn't delay. I think that would just be like, I think that in itself would still be funny. It's
yeah,
just like,
man.
oh yeah, I got an idea. I didn't come up with anything.
Nah, I think as soon as this hit, I was just like, yeah, there we go. This works. This is something I would read. This is something I would like go for if I read the first chapter.
Oh yeah, well, as you were describing it to me, I was like, yeah, I could see why he said he would read this because this is exactly your kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which I mean makes sense because you like, that's sort of your preference
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
in manga. You like those kind of mangas, so like I can see why you would come up with that. It is interesting though that like we both fully understand that this gimmick would only last so long and that we probably would get axed sooner than later.
It's kind of like I just like it's hard for longevity with this idea. Anyway, I'm pretty sure there is some combination out there which would be a long lasting thing, but as I think it's very limited with the multiverse. I think
Yeah.
you'd have like with the multiverse thing as well, like arguably if like I don't know, MCU, like Dragon Ball, those are very established franchises. Whereas right now we're coming up with something from scratch. And to sell a multiverse from something that no one's ever heard before is so hard. That's why like again, I kind of like was close to doing like the whole crossover of Jump rom-coms.
I think it's also like the combination of romantic comedy and multiverse.
Yeah,
That's
that
what
is-
makes it harder to like live longer than, I don't know, let's say we both get to 10 chapters at best, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, you still have to do the romance
Mm-hmm.
and then a comedy, but then like the gimmick is multiverse. So it's like, how often do you jump and how often do you like swap characters or introduce new ones? You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It was a tough one, but like,
I think for a manga, it's really tough because I think you can do multiverses in movies a bit easier. I feel like manga just feels like because you got a limited time in the movie, you got an hour and a half to establish something, and you can kind of do it like that. Whereas manga is like a long running thing, unless you do like I don't know, what was it like Akira Toriyama used to do like one-off volumes, didn't he, for some of his series?
yeah.
No, that's the only other thing I could think of.
I never thought about like the length of publishing.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that feels pretentious to be like, oh yeah, of course, like my story's gonna last like 3 decades. Why wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, you kind of like I feel like you'd have to think depending where this sits, it would have to last. You'd have to think what is something that could have longevity. Because realistically, if you're creating a series that's going to go in jump, you want it to have longevity. You don't want it to be like, yep, here's this fucking 7-chapter thing.
I mean, to be fair, I I never thought of mine in any magazine. I was just like, here's a manga story.
Yeah.
There you go. So like for me personally, I wasn't thinking like, oh yeah, I've got a lasting jump for like however many issues or whatever. I was just sort of like,
Yeah.
manga. There you go. Maybe it's an indie, like maybe it's not. I don't friggin' know.
I think because of like my inspiration that I took from, I think that's how it helped me. Like jump is the one thing that I know about, and it's like in terms of manga, and it like kind of just like I just go from what I know of that kind of stuff. Like, and the fact that if it's gonna go anywhere, I know it'd probably be Jump is the biggest one, and if it's gonna go somewhere, I'll just try that and like write it for Jump in some ways. So yeah.
Fair. So going back to your characters,
Yes.
because they're the standout characters. Where I've gone for like generic looking people.
Yeah.
In your mind, do they like stand out a little more? You know, like almost like in an RPG where like you got your main characters and then the background characters all look kind of like the same. Is it like that, or are you like going for like stereotypical looking people as well?
Uh, well, I'd say Masayuki is very stereotypical. He's not got too much about him in terms of design. He's very much like kind of like your average kind of school guy, like school kid.
Yep.
And I feel like you do find that with a lot of rom-coms as well. When it comes down to those sort of thing, the girl is really the main character, and the guy, even though you follow the guy's story, the girl is the one that is the main selling point. She's the one that has the more unique design. When you look at stuff like Chilovru, Nisakoi, like those are characters which stand out in that universe, and ideally Maki would be a bit like that. However, between different universes, Maki's design changes as well in the fact that, like, sure, she'll have the same face roughly every time, apart from that first universe he goes into where it's like a completely different girl just who just knows him. But like Maki typically would be the same face every time, but in Fist of North Star she's ripped. Like it goes from different universe, you'd have different hair.
See, like when you said that, I did just sort of imagine Kenshiro, but like with a girl's head.
Literally, that's literally how I was imagining it as well.
Like in my mind, I just sort of went, oh, rip one of the like the face and hair off of like a Sailor Moon character,
Yeah, literally,
and then chuck it onto Kenshiro.
That's the idea. That's 100% the idea. Yeah, it's the fact that like Maki never has a single design, probably apart from that first one. That would be her main design, but obviously it changes. Masayuki will always have that vision of her in his mind, like the perfect girl, like the one that he loves.
Okay.
And the one that he fell in love with. But obviously, from each universe, it's so different. And that's why it's his aim to go back and find that original Maki.
I feel like I say this all the time. In so far in everyone we've done, but at least we haven't come up with the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for the one pitch where we basically have the almost word for word, title for title, you know, like
right, the titles
copies.
are so close for this though. Like,
oh yeah, okay.
When you read them out, I was like, "Fucking hell, that sounds like so very close." And the fact that you came up with the like going for the generated names as well. As soon as he said that, I was like, "For fuck's sake, he's done exactly what I've done here."
Well, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, Takeshi Sato.
When I was thinking of names, I was like, Sato sounds like a good thing, right? And like Takeshi probably wasn't like. I think that was like, oh, that's too basic. I'll go for something different.
At one point, I was gonna say Takeshi, but that's because like the stuff I watch on YouTube.
Yeah.
Whenever they need a default like Japanese guy's name, they normally put Takeshi.
Takeshi's just there, isn't it? Like,
I thought, no, let me try and put some effort in.
Yeah.
Or at least a little more effort than just being like, what's the most stereotypical thing I can think of? I mean, I did also put down the kanji for their names, but I didn't note down what they meant.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Soma's was like a massive contrast, like, because I think my female lead, Sasami no Harauchi, is her name is like a combination of like beautiful and moonlight and all that kind of, you know, like amazing stuff. And then I'm pretty sure Soma Uchigaki is something like dirt horse. Something like that. Like I swear the kanji that specifically it spat out was like dirty horse.
Oh my god.
I'd have to look it up again, but I think that's still pretty funny. Like
I have no clue what my names mean. Like I took them and I know like because I think like for Masayuki, I think I end up hitting generate like about 5 times until I found something that was like that works with how the thing.
Oh dear, I know what you mean though, because like Sasami, I hit generate probably 10 times before I was like that one, and it's like the website I used spat out maybe like 10 to 15 names, and I still kept hitting generate because I was like, no, not good enough.
It's quite funny with the girl's name with Maki. I was like, I only hit it twice that time. I was like, that actually works. That one sounds like it works. Like I think because I do not know what the fuck they mean. I remember that I was like, that works like as a name. Lucy like goes there, but like I feel like girls' names are I don't know. I feel like they're quite easy compared to guys' names. I feel like with girls, it's like you want to go for a typical rom-com kind of character. It's like, oh yeah, and all of them came up with like clever, beautiful, like princess and like these loads of different things. Whereas like the guys' ones is like eighth son, like courage. And I'm like, and even a courage one, I was like, this is like, no one's going to relate to this name. That's freaking long. You can't abbreviate to anything. Like, like the fact they came up with like Hachichiko or some shit like that, I was like, I'm not having that.
Like, but for me, like Soma Uchigaki was in the first generate. That's what's so strange. Is like,
oh wow, okay, so you've had is the other way for you.
I had the complete opposite. I hit
Mad.
generate. It was amongst the first set, and I was like, that's the one. That one right there. Mainly because I did see Gaki.
Yeah, just fussy.
I just saw Brat.
Yeah,
But like, it's also like one letter off being like a synonym for poo. So like, because like in Japanese, if you call someone a kusogaki, it's a shitty brat.
yeah, okay, yeah.
And uchi, if you put an N in there and make it unchi, that's like another way of saying poo. So it was so close to being shitty brat again.
So you're just really going for it, yeah.
That's kind of why I picked it again, because I was just like really, really close. I was playing really into that brat part.
Oh man.
But like I was going for like these smart jokes
Yeah.
that I'm like, me and other people like me and probably the Japanese would understand, and everyone else would just be like, yeah, okay, this guy's name, why is it funny?
Yeah. It's quite funny though, looking at your design of your character. He doesn't really look like too much of a brat though.
No, but again, because like, I mean, how do you draw someone looking incredibly bratty? You know what I mean? Like, I that's about as far as my skill goes.
I feel like my initial thing for like a brat, you know, like kind of like Fire Force's main character. I can't remember what he's called now.
Yeah, okay.
That I feel like that kind of short hairstyle, maybe like a bandage or something on the nose, and it's like, oh, that guy looks like a brat. Like scuffles, like what was it, unkept shirt, that kind of stuff. Like,
that's beyond my skill level. Like, what I did is about as far as I could go with it.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Like that pose alone was, I needed to stare intently at a reference image.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because I was like, I sort of know how I'm supposed to draw this, but like I'm gonna draw it and it's gonna look really out of proportion.
Nah, I get that. I just see that he's like, he's got the fucking biceps on him as well. Man's been at the gym.
His arm's a lot thinner than that underneath. I got too lazy to draw in all the fold lines.
Oh yeah, okay.
It's just he's got a really baggy shirt on. But
I
that's again lack of skill. Because I'm like, how would I draw these fold lines? And I either sit there and stare at reference images and try to pretend like I understand, or I sit there and I put on a baggy shirt myself and just start staring at my arm. And I'm like, either way, I'm an insane person.
Yeah.
So I was like,
how much you gonna sacrifice for your art, Nathan?
What exactly? Like, I'm not throwing shade at artists. I rate you for being able to know these things.
Yeah.
And to be able to do it. But me personally, I was like, I'm going to go absolutely insane just staring at clothing fold lines just to make it look 20% more realistic. I was like, yeah, it's fine as it is. I tried to put a bit of shading in there. I got real lazy with that.
Like, look, at the end of the day, bro, I get where you're coming from with it, like for sure. Like the moment you said me that, I was like, okay, yeah, I can see like the inspiration here. I see all
that's
that
all
kind
it
of
needs.
stuff. That's it.
That's
Yeah.
literally all it needs. Surprisingly, it's very hard to find, at least on Google Images, just characters in poses like that are generic and are, you know, fair use.
Yeah.
Because everything else is like probably copyrighted. And I was like, I don't feel comfortable trying to Photoshop that together because I feel like someone's going to come after me if they saw it. So then I was like, well, I guess I have to draw.
Nathan's OC, do not steal.
Oh yes, please don't steal my generic anime man and generic anime girl with very long pink hair. They are not stereotypes whatsoever. Please do not steal those.
Unreal. Is there anything else you have to say, Nathan, before we could close this off.
No, not really.
Yeah.
I'm hoping if we get to another pitches that I don't have to show off my shoddy drawings.
I want to see more shoddy drawings.
Oh god.
I demand the shoddy drawings.
We both know I'm better at photoshopping. That's why I try to find things that are pre-made so I could just slap it together instead of doing this myself. Because
to be fair, if I had to do this, it'd just be in Paint. Microsoft Paint, like, is this good enough? It's got like Ringo Starr art. That's what it's got. If
Hey,
you don't know
you
what
leave it
Ringo
out, he's
Starr
got-
art is, fucking look it up because
yeah, please do Google that Ringo Starr MS Paint art. That is some magic stuff.
And on that note, I feel like a very lovely note right there. Thank you for listening, guys. Thank you for listening to talk about our pitches. If you want to see more of this, let us know. Leave a comment down there. And also remember to like, subscribe, find us on the podcast platforms. Links in the description. We're also on Twitter. Follow us there. And I guess we'll see you guys next time for another Cultured Boys episode. Bye-bye.
Bye.